We will move to another topic and another speaker. We have also today with us Lenka Helena Königsmark. And interestingly, she's from not a Nordic company, but from American company, which is MATTEL. She's their marketing and PR manager. And I'm actually happy that we are also diverse in case of origin of companies which we have invited. So Lenka, she will share with us her story and her family story, because she wants to tell us more about her child. And I will now give the floor to Lenka to actually share with us what she has prepared for us.
Thank you, Annie. And thank you all for giving me this opportunity, especially to Lea. I worked with at Lego company, so I am actually connected to the Nordic Chamber, and this is why and how we met many years ago with Lea. You don't say how long ago, so but some years ago. And so, do you see my presentation? Just to be 100% sure, not yet.
Yeah, it will shortly come, and I think something is already going on, and we can have, you just can switch into presentation.
A full presentation mode, which I apologize because it was.
Yeah, this one.
Sorry, I apologize, because we were actually training it, and to be honest,
and it always also happens to me. Maybe it could be in the view section.
Oh yeah, that was the view, and it was
down there, full screen maybe.
Full screen mode, yes, and I apologize. Sorry.
No problem at all. Thank you.
So I joined MATTEL 9 years ago, and yes, it was a very different experience to the Nordic companies such as Lego was and is. But on the other hand, of course, there are always pluses and minuses. And I have seen throughout the years a big change in social responsibility and in toys that we offer to kids. It is actually because MATTEL is responsible for many brands, but the, let's say, flagship is Barbie. And in 2016, Barbie has finally decided that she will be diverse. So we started, and nowadays we deliver to the market many different Barbies, many different shapes of bodies, skin colors, eyes, but also, and soon you will understand why, which is very close to my heart, is that we also do have wheelchair Barbie, wheelchair Ken. We have toys with vitiligo, with prosthetic leg, because I do believe, and the company as well, that it is our duty, as we do show children, or we are, let's say, witnessing the path of kids towards their future. So to equip them the best we can, and to also show them that the world is very diverse, very colorful, and that things may happen. What I am going to mainly talk about, and very briefly, don't be afraid, is resilience and agility. Because I believe that these days, this is the most important thing that we all need. It has grown in importance during COVID, because life of everyone has changed. And it has changed a lot from day to day. And we had to simply accommodate to a new normal. So being suddenly short of freedom, we couldn't go outside, we couldn't buy what we want. Some of us were fearing, of course, their jobs, if they're going to exist. Some of us were just juggling how to do with kids and homeschool and everything. And besides that, we had to work, right? So I remember those days when we were really doing plan A, plan B, plan C, D, I don't know what. We were working nights because people couldn't work in the days because they had to take care of the kids. So it was a very tough time. And I had a feeling that my previous experience actually helped me to accommodate easier. Because some of you might know, some of you don't. 6 years ago, I gave a birth to a second child. Everything was lit by sun, but then after a couple of months, we have realized that he is disabled. So the nightmare comes and your world is in ruins because you never expect that this could happen and that this could happen to you. So I think I'm quite equipped with working on a sudden change in a life when nothing seems as it was before. And I think I can also say that there is always a silver lining to everything, and that a human nature is so strong that you can overcome all obstacles, all odds. So that's why I was actually having, at that time of COVID, couple of presentations also for MATTEL in the European scale, because people, I believe, have a tendency and they do need to see positive examples. So I was, a little bit serving as a positive example. I hope so. So it was a lot about resilience, the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, as you can see there, and agility, because we need to move quickly and easily. So yes, and believe me, I am Taurus, born Taurus. So I love regime. I love discipline. I love things do not changing. And this is daily. It was daily, challenging me that somehow things that were valid yesterday are not valid today. So yes, we have to be very, very flexible, think quickly. Sometimes I remember when we were growing up, it was different because we were forced to know everything deep down. But these days you are sometimes just, a little bit on the surface, because none of us can really absorb all the knowledge. So yeah, but then that's why we have Uncle Google, so we can find the answer easily. But sometimes when my 10-year-old son comes from school and he has such a weird questions and I go like, I don't know. So, we Google it and then you will know, So, yeah, it's sometimes difficult, either to go down, deep inside, or being on the surface. So I do believe that these days, agility and resilience are, well, I wouldn't say maybe two most important things, but very important things in our life. We could actually see it after Christmas in February, when we all thought, okay, COVID is gone, fine. And then the war came, which has severely impacted our countries, neighboring countries to Ukraine, specifically Slovak Republic, Czech Republic, Poland. I am part of the Ukrainian philanthropy team within MATTEL. So we see daily. And believe me that the situation that is here is very vivid, but it is nothing compared to Poland, where they have more than 2 million people. And basically everyone I know from MATTEL has some families at home, etc. So the situation is even, I wouldn't say worse, but let's say maybe more flexible in Poland. So when all these things, and I believe, and I am happy that we live at a time when companies and us as well do believe that it is important to be balanced at work and at home. Because I remember 20 years ago, your value was perceived as, I am a manager or director or CEO. That means you have a high value. But nowadays, it's a combination, not only, of course, how successful you are within your job, but also if you have time for other things, if you have time for the family, for yourself, for simply for life. So I am really happy that I am living and working in these days, because we have, in a way, compared to 20, 30 years ago, a great freedom. And what has taught me in life is, and you can read it on the screen, is that it is an old, I think, British or English proverb. If a man does not master his circumstances, then he's bound to be mastered by them. So I think that sometimes simply you have to realize, okay, this is as it is, and I need to live it through. Because sometimes, and I was like that before, just, pushing to the wall and trying to break it. But maybe sometimes there are simple situations that you cannot change it. So, sorry, you need to find a way how to live with that. And as also another proverb says, if a life gives you lemon, make a lemonade, which I think is one of the coolest things I have ever heard. So the story, it's just, in a couple of words, when we find out our son is sick, very sick, and with very dim forecast. That means you are ruined. You have one elder child, and then you don't know, okay, what do we do? So you are feeling really very low. You go to the hospitals. I was lucky, even though the American companies are perceived, like very tough capitalistic companies, they've always treated me with the utmost respect. And anytime I asked for a home office, I was basically working from home office long before COVID to be able to take care of my son together with my husband. So they are really a great company, even though they're Americans. So we decided not to give up. Until today, we do not have a diagnosis of my son. So it is something between earth and sky, but we simply work. For some time, you believe that miracle will come. Somebody will come and knock some button and everything will be great. It's not true. So it is a daily exercise and therapies and love that you give. And so yeah, we struggled. You lose your faith, then you regain it. Well, sometimes they tell you he will be paralyzed and lying in the bed, and nothing will be like that. But that's not the truth. He is already on a wheelchair. He's not talking, but he does understand. And believe me, even though he is not really talking, he can exactly tell you in his way what he wants, as every child. He's a general of this family. And I believe that one day I will dance with him at his prom, because I do believe in the positive affirmation. So thinking that, I might be stupid. I know I might be blind, but I rather live in a hope that things will get better than being, just totally depressed that, well, it will be very bad. So in the darkest hour, and it can be very different to all of us. It does not have to be so, let's say, tough as in our case. You always do realize what matters most. And it is your life. You are responsible for what you do with your life. We decided to fight. I mean, yeah, we are fighters. And I didn't want to be a victim. Can happen. And I am not saying that it's bad, because I see quite a lot of people in a daily care where Max is now going every day. You see some people who do not have, let's say, the possibilities, do not have the voice, do not not have the inner strength, finances to fight. So they seem to be quite burnt out. And I do understand that as well. But I have decided to go the other way around. You could see him here. He's now 6 years old. He's quite skilled, on his wheelchair. And yes, he is a beautiful child. So we always say that at least God was sort of merciful for him for being so nice. And he is a sunshine. He always makes you happy. And believe me, he is the happiest child you've ever seen. He's smiling all the time. And I always say, okay, sometimes we feel bad. We feel bad at work or, relationships. But then I do remember, him and saying, okay, I mean, what do I have as troubles, right, compared to him? Because to illustrate it, for him to lift up his hand was like something if you had a sack here of 10 kilos, so it's very difficult for him, but he is improving. And I also do believe into the power of science. So, you don't know what will be tomorrow. I mean, positive things, right? So we are trying to make him stand. It's, I mean, life is not always so shiny, right? He has nappies, which is not so convenient when you have a 6-year-old child, but okay, I mean, fine. On the other hand, he's a master of PlayStation. Nobody would ever believe that this child can handle the remote control, and he knows exactly what to do and how to do it. So, he's very clever, and he actually loves jokes, which, as the doctors say, it is a sign of intelligence. So we are very happy for that. He loves swimming. Water, as water is helping with his movement. So he's, So usually when we go we try to go to the sea in the summer, because the salted water is really a paradise for him. So that's the only time in my life when I never put on weight, even though I eat really Greek fatty stuff, because I'm like 6 hours all the time in the water, running around him and jumping. So, I always love to go to Greece because it's perfect for your conditions. And because I decided not only that, okay, I have a disabled child, I need to live with that, and I'll do anything I can with my husband to make him happy and ideally walk and talk. But we also decided that there is a silver lining to every cloud. So I started 3-4 years ago his profile on Instagram. People were telling me, come on, nobody wants to see a handicapped and sick child on Instagram. There are only purses and beautiful girls and makeups and I don't know what. So, but again, I said, okay, I will do my own way. So now, after 2 or 3 years, we have more than 10,000 followers. Every day, I'm posting stories on just the life that we live. There we go we drive to the kindergarten, that we are playing or eating, or he's trying to say mama, or, things like that. First of all, maybe it is sort of a therapy for myself as well, because, I don't want to hide anything. On the other hand, I am getting a lot of messages from a lot of people and this is what I wanted most, is that it gives them hope that, again, in the darkest hour, you can be happy. That happiness is not given by faith, but it is about the decision, and that you can find ability in everything. So this is sort of my small project that I have on top of work. And I just try to summarize the thoughts that are somehow forming our life, or, as a family. And it's a lot about, Scandinavian hygge, being happy with small things in life. I mean, when this happens to you and your life is ruined, then you, in a way, get a lightness of being. You don't care about so many things because you know that other things matter most, which is a little bit tricky with the older son, with Ben, because he has learned from us, Mom, there are worst things in life, which is fine. But when he got another bad grade at school from math, I was not so happy about it. So I was trying to tell him that there are important things in life, such as your grades, but fine. I also think if you are in trouble, to me, it helps. After all, tomorrow is another day. A famous quote of Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind. Yes, because believe me, there are moments. And yesterday, I actually met with a famous actress in the Czech Republic, Maholena Bočanová, who has a 20-year-old daughter, mentally disabled. And we had lunch, and it was very interesting talk. And after many, many months, when she left, I was just sitting in the restaurant and crying. She didn't say anything sad. She is so strong and she is so balanced in her life. It was just that sometimes, of course, you go down, or you pity yourself, or you pity your child. It was just, and then you feel like, oh, what will be with my child when he's not here, or when I am not here, when I die or something. So, and then you say, okay, I'll think about it another day. Let's take care about the problems when they come, because otherwise I would be paralyzed. So, and then I had to believe for the best. And I do also believe that we as a family are trying to do most that we can. Well, and, last but not least, again, to this, making the most of what has life given to you. I have been addressed last year by one of the interviews that I was actually doing at the Heroin magazine about work-life balance, disabled children, etc. I was addressed by one of the senators, independent senators. He asked me for a meeting, so I went there thinking, what on earth can he want from me, and da, da, da. And then he actually proposed to me whether I do not want to run a candidacy for the Senate. And I was like, me for the Senate, huh? But then we started to think about it, talk about it. So it is actually going to be close to 1 year that I'm working on it. And this year in September, I will run for the Senate of the Czech Republic at Prague 6, where I do live. It is believed to be the most difficult part, because a very strong gentleman is trying to rerun again to the Senate. He's very popular here. It's very different nature to me. He's a very respectable gentleman. He talks a lot about democracy and about education. And then it's me with my child on a wheelchair talking more about that. I want to support the disabled people. I want to support the elderly people, because my mom was living when she was sick for many years with us. So I know exactly what does it mean. What are the obstacles that you need to face, how the state is not really helping you. So I have prepared many points that I would love to change. And the main motto that I have is to have to let every voice to be heard, because I do believe that the civilization is as strong as it can take care of the weakest ones, which in my eyes are disabled, are the informal carers. Do you know that informal carers in this republic account for more than 1.5 million people? Almost in every family you find somebody who has to take care of somebody else who is either sick, disabled, or simply old. So yeah, so I know it's not very political, like economy, or I'm not talking about inflation, etc., but I'm talking about kindness, that I do believe that we all need in life. So, and everything behind that was actually Marx, a small disabled child. So I do believe, as I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings, where they say that even the smallest person in the world can change the world. So thank you. I hope I kept the time.
Definitely. Thank you also, Lenka, for sharing all this with us. It was also very motivational. And I have a couple of questions. One question would be basically, what do you think motivates you best and most when you tackle a difficult situation? Like, or for instance, if you deal with your family issues and also with Max, what supports you most? Is it does a community help, or is it discussion, talking, sharing your worries and troubles with somebody? What does help most? Because I think each of us sometimes tackles difficult situations, so it would be good to know.
Well, in my case, it's more I'm not so much type. Of course, you do share with the closest ones, with your family and with your friends, but as a first step, I am the one to chew it inside of myself. And what does help me, and I know it sounds boring, it's the discipline. So it was the thing that when we found out about Marx and you feel really down, etc., then you start saying, okay, but I need to work because I need to feed the family. I mean, money, unfortunately, do not grow on the tree, which is, I mean, it would be lovely, but it's not happening, at least not in our garden. So I simply say, okay, I need to work, I need to do this. So I'm simply making, one by one what to do. And then sometimes it does help to speak. And gentlemen will allow me to say, but especially for us women, just to talk with your girlfriends and, talk it through. But I do believe that first you need to find the strength inside of you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. And also when you mentioned, because we're also talking about diversity today, and you mentioned that your company actually produces Barbies, which are also diverse. So what do you think, how the sales are going, how they are developing? Because some people may say, okay, but kids want just the beautiful, Barbies, which they used to have all the time. So what about
Yes, you are right. You are right. Not so many parents will buy a Barbie on a wheelchair. So at the beginning, 2 years ago, it was rather a PR item. But nowadays, it's a couple of hundreds per year that we sell in the Czech Republic. Plus, of course, I do believe that it is also our, let's say, role of the companies to promote these toys more. So we are actually working now in connection with the Disability Day in December, that we will run a big campaign in EMEA, in Europe, for MATTEL, basically showing this. And we believe, as also Roman from IKEA said, it is our role, and you can slowly teach the audience as well. So yeah, it is growing. I mean, of course, mermaids are selling better, but you never know.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Lenka, for everything.